Hi teammates, this is your Garrison Commander, Colonel Brian Logan here. Hey, today I have with me some special guests. First from our SJA office, Ms. Sarah, and from our EEO, Mr. Harsheen. And so what we'd like to do today is spend a little bit of time explaining what we're doing to set conditions in this COVID environment to bring our Garrison teammates back to work, back to the office place. So as you know, since March 26, we've been executing minimal essential manning. And now we're transitioning to mission readiness manning. A little bit different in verbiage, and I'll explain the difference in the two. Mission readiness manning is allowing commanders and directors more flexibility to adjust personnel levels to meet our current mission requirements. And remember, our number one mission requirement is to maintain the readiness levels for our soldiers. As the nation's first responders, we have to ensure that they have a safe, healthy environment in which to train and continue to hone their skills should they be called upon to deploy worldwide environment. So we're still maximizing telework during this period. But within the next few weeks, employees are going to be directed to return to their work site to begin preparations for resuming those operations. Now rest assured, management and headquarters, we're doing everything we can to ensure a safe operating environment for everyone involved. Now, if you have special needs or feel that you are at higher risk, we ask that you inform your supervisors and appraise them of your unique concerns. Now, we're planning to apply this policy and legal guidance, and that's why I've asked my teammates here to join me today, so they can answer those questions and provide a little bit of structure as to what will occur next week. As the mission continues, that threat that we have of COVID-19 is not going to disappear anytime soon. And so we have to operate within that new environment. So there's going to be some adjustments. The supervisors will set conditions for employees. We'll explain those processes to our new employees. So that might be instituting new hygiene programs or new sanitizing programs, separating areas and cubicles or moving workspaces. All of those might be part of adjusting to this new environment. But what I'd like to do now is turn it over to Ms. Sarah so she can talk to us a little bit about the legal portions.
Thank you, Colonel Logan. So basically, again, what we really just want to make sure that everybody knows is that managers and employees all want the same thing. We want a safe, healthy working environment where everybody feels secure in coming back to work. So in the upcoming weeks, after you're notified about your return to work date, be sure to let your supervisor know if you have any special concerns, and they'll work with you. And Mr. Harsheen will tell you a little bit more about that process. But also just know that, like Colonel Logan said, some things might become a new normal. There might be the possibility that your supervisor would want to take your temperature when you come into work, and that's okay during this pandemic time to ensure everybody's safety. Or they might ask you just very generic questions about COVID-19 related symptoms to make sure that you're okay and that everybody in the working environment is safe. And also, managers can be really flexible with the types of solutions that they can come up with for you. They could call back half the workforce in every other day to spread it out and make sure there's more space in between employees. They'll ensure that there's hand sanitizer and PPE as needed for each office workspace and whatever makes the most sense. And then for management officials, if there does seem to be problems with getting employees to return to work, at first ensure that you reach out to the employee and find out if they have any specific concerns. If there's any concerns that can be addressed or fears that can be allayed, please work. Everybody needs to remember to work together in order to allay those fears. Afterwards, though, if employees are unwilling to return to work, know that you can carry them in an AWOL status if they don't avail themselves of any other leave options that are available. And that in and of itself, carrying somebody as AWOL is not considered a disciplinary move. It's simply accountability. If you're going to consider any type of discipline, just remember, managers, to work closely with your LMER, CPAC, and with the labor counselor. We're available to answer any of your questions and to help you get to the safe and secure work environment that we know that you want to provide for your employees.
Hey, thanks, Sarah. I really appreciate your insight on that. So now I'd like to turn to the other side of the house and our EEO director, Mr. Harsheen.
Thank you, Colonel Logan and Sarah. We do appreciate it. Good day, teammates. I'm here to just provide some basic guidance that has been provided by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission concerning COVID-19 and the Americans with Disabilities Act. The EEOC has advised that any request for weather or safety leave for situational telework by an employee that is considered a high risk is a request for accommodation. So I want employees and supervisors to understand that when you request for reasonable accommodation or concerning COVID-19 and you're looking at staying on weather or safety leave or extending that telework, that has to be treated as a reasonable accommodation. Now, unless the high-risk conditions are already known by you as a supervisor to exist, e.g. age that are documented in the OMPF, you should ask the employee to identify which high-risk factors applies to them, and you may also ask for substantiating medical documentation. As with any reasonable accommodation request, the employee is not entitled to the accommodation of their choice, which means that you can proffer alternative accommodations such as furnishing masks, gloves, hand sanitizers, or wipes. However, in every instance where a reasonable accommodation is requested, you must engage in an interactive process. The interactive process is between you and the employee. Our office stands by to assist you through that process, but you must engage the employee. We are still operating under the conditions for situational telework. So I want you to understand, supervisors and managers, that you have at your disposal the ability to keep your employees on telework, but be mindful that rotating employees in and out of buildings, that they maintain the proper spacing. Employees, age is not a condition that allows for reasonable accommodation. An accommodation is there to assist individuals with disability, and in this case, individuals that are high risk in regards to COVID-19 to continue to enjoy the benefits of employment. So with that being said, please use your telework flexibilities and place the employee on weather or safety leave if they are over 65 and do not want to return to work. If an employee who is not infected wants to return to work, you cannot force an employee to stay home without first consulting the servicing CPAC, the Labor Employee Relations Office, or our labor attorney, Ms. Sarah, an employee or the employee's attorney. And we will come up with a solution on a case-by-case basis. So some of the frequently asked questions that may come across for supervisors and managers: can a supervisor order an employee into an official workspace even if the installation or office is generally closed? Yes. The answer is yes. Under 5 CFR 630-1605B, a supervisor can order an employee who are identified as emergency employees to the official worksite if the installation or office is generally closed. Normally, the supervisor should identify and inform the employee in advance that they occupy positions that have been identified as emergency and that they may need to return to the official worksite to carry out mission-critical functions of a DoD component. Components should be mindful of their collective bargaining obligations when doing so. Second question: what options are available for civilian personnel with children whose schools are closed and parents run out of annual leave? A civilian personnel may telework when a child or dependent requiring supervision is present at the alternative worksite. DoD grants a temporary waiver of policy until December 31st, 2020 to allow employees to telework in situations and encourage the DoD components to make similar adjustments to their policies. Where an employee is teleworking and providing care to a child or a dependent during duty hours, the employee must account for this time with the appropriate leave as approved by his or her supervisor. For example, an employee who feeds and supervises a young child multiple times during the day will need to take leave, or if on a flexible work schedule, adjust his or her hours. Thank you, Colonel Logan.
Okay, teammates, we're going to go ahead and close this video out. But what I want to do is ensure you that our number one priority is your safety, to ensure that we have a safe, secure, healthy environment for our soldiers, our families, and our DA civilians that work and live here on Fort Stewart and Hunter Army Airfield. Thank you again to Sarah and Harsheen. I really appreciate you joining me here today. I look forward to seeing everyone return. Please stay safe. We'll talk to you soon.